A huge homeless cat, known for his unique meow, was taken to a shelter after many years of roaming the streets. However, his subsequent actions surprised absolutely everyone who knew Clancy's story. He was named that because day after day he walked around the house in search of any scraps of food. His orange fur was dotted with balding patches from wounds sustained during years of struggling to survive on the streets, and his eyes were full of fatigue. But what truly caught people's attention was his special hoarse meow, sharp, full of unique individuality. It was this that set him apart from other cats. A woman living in the house around which Clancy often appeared was amazed upon hearing this sound for the first time. She had never heard a cat make anything like it, as if he was trying to speak. She told her husband about it, and soon they began to joke that this cat might be trying to tell them something important. The kind woman began leaving food and fresh water for Clancy, and the cat quickly found himself a cozy corner near the house where he could sleep. Soon she noticed that Clancy did not want to leave, and it touched her heart. It was obvious that his life had not been easy. His body bore the marks of numerous battles for survival fought on the streets. These scars reflected all the weight of his past, full of difficult trials and constant skirmishes with other animals. No one in Eastern Oregon knew if Clancy ever had a home or knew what family love was. Despite all the hardships, there was something special about him that made people stop and look at him again. His round face and chubby cheeks brought an instant smile to everyone who saw him. The same happened with the woman and her husband. They quickly became attached to this orange giant. The woman began searching for shelters where Clancy could be placed. But the situation was not easy. All shelters were overcrowded, and their staff warned that finding a home for a cat who had spent his entire life on the streets would be very difficult. Many believed that he might be wild and it would be difficult for him to adapt to life in a home. However, the couple saw how calm and good-natured Clancy could be. The woman did not give up and continued her search, but no shelter was ready to take him in. One particularly difficult day, she noticed that Clancy's condition was deteriorating. His fur had dulled, and he looked weak and exhausted. The cat, who usually enjoyed rubbing his head against people, could barely stand on his paws. Seeing him in such a state, the woman realized that they could no longer delay. Without hesitation, she wrapped him in a warm blanket and took him to a small local animal rescue center, the only place she had not yet contacted. This decision proved to be very timely, as Clancy needed urgent help. His story of wandering was ready to take a new, unexpected turn. The shelter was small and modest, offering only temporary refuge for Clancy. But despite its limitations, it became a place where the cat could rest and be safe. As soon as Clancy arrived, he quickly won the sympathy of the entire team. They understood that he needed care that this small shelter couldn't provide, but they still did everything possible for him. His body was covered with old, deep scars, silent witnesses to his past on the streets. But despite this, Clancy remained incredibly docile and affectionate. It was clear that his entire life had been spent on the streets, yet unlike many stray cats, Clancy was not wary or skittish. He was a gentle giant, whose nature remained tender and loving. Every time one of the staff approached him, the cat's eyes would light up, and he would joyfully run to the fence, craving affection. The shelter team quickly noticed the same unique feature as the woman, Clancy's unusual meow, which seemed almost human. This sound became a source of joy for everyone working at the shelter. A small detail made Clancy even more special. To help him, they decided to contact another shelter in the city of Servo, Oregon, and hoped that they could take in this unusual cat there. When Gitter Svoboda, the communications and development manager, heard Clancy's story, she couldn't remain indifferent. The story of the kind, almost talking cat touched her, and she agreed to take him in. Gitter was also curious. Does Clancy's meow really resemble words? After arriving at the shelter, veterinarians neutered Clancy, treated his urinary infection, and performed dental surgery to remove diseased teeth that were causing him severe pain. After several weeks of intensive care, Clancy felt much better. Now that he felt happier, his unique meows became even more frequent, turning into a daily sound that entertained the shelter staff. The next step was to find the perfect home for this charming giant. After so many years of living on the streets, Clancy deserved a cozy place where he would be loved, where he could enjoy a warm bed and affection. Finding a home was not easy, but one day something unusual happened. When a shelter volunteer petted Clancy, something in his meow changed. The sound he made was clearer, and the volunteer swore she heard something like the word hello. Of course, many thought it was just a coincidence. Cats don't talk, do they? However, Clancy lifted his head again, full of tenderness, and meowed again. This time there was no doubt. The sound was indeed similar to hello. This news quickly spread throughout the shelter. At first, many did not believe it, but when volunteers began recording interactions with Clancy on video, it became obvious. The cat indeed seemed to be trying to communicate. His meow was not just hoarse and strange, it resembled human words. The video of Clancy spread on social media, and soon thousands of people learned about the talking cat, enchanted by his loving nature and unique sounds. One of the viewers was a woman named Sandy, who had always adored cats. Seeing the video of Clancy, she couldn't resist. Deciding to give this unusual cat a home full of love, she contacted the shelter and came to meet him in person. When she arrived, Clancy greeted her with a soft meow and a gentle touch. A connection was instantly formed between them, and Sandy knew he would become part of her life. Holding him in her arms, she felt that she was doing the right thing. After quickly completing all the necessary paperwork, Clancy moved to his new home. Sandy did everything to make him feel comfortable. Cozy beds, toys, but most of all, Clancy needed love, and he found it. In the year 2024, Clancy quickly adapted to his new life, charming his new owner with his special sounds that sometimes even resembled words. He followed Sandy around the house, proving that he was a special and unforgettable cat, unlike any other she had ever known. What do you think about Clancy's fate? Like and subscribe to our channel so you don't miss the next amazing story.